Welcome, everybody, to the IDP Plus Start Sit Show for week 13. We're here to answer your questions, your dilemmas, your concerns related to both IDP and offense to help you bring home a victory this week in this all-important, critical week as we're getting closer and closer to playoffs. I am your host, Ricky Rod Reed. You can find me at RickyRod66. You can find my co-hosts, the IDP savant, Shawn Teague at Shawn8386 on X. Thrilled to be with you here on Sunday, November 30th, the 13th weekend of the NFL regular season. And Shawn, for most people, this is the last of the two regular season weeks to go in most leagues, Shawn. So I think we're going to have some pretty tough questions and some pretty nervous listeners/watchers today.
I've been really nervous. Every time it feels like we get this figured out, like, who are the must starts right now? It seems like something gets flipped every so many weeks, and I feel like we're in the middle of a flip, and I don't know where to go yet.
Well, we sure hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Shawn, I know I ate really well, probably too well. You know what? We're going to ask people to put into the comments, if they don't mind, what was your, big dessert that you might have had on Thanksgiving and, that you liked and so forth. For me, my wife made this wonderful Hershey pie, which is has no calories in it, basically. Shawn?
Butterfinger cake has a lot of calories in it. There's nothing good.
Butterfinger cake.
Yes, sir.
So we both went the candy bar into pie route, it sounds like.
Yep. It is definitely not healthy for you, but boy, is it delicious.
The best desserts are that way. All righty. Hey, look, a couple things before we get into the questions real quick. Weather is important, whether it be for offense or defense. And while, some of the weather, there's some rain expected in several locations. Most of those are not expected to be too severe. But the big concern is the San Francisco at Cleveland game, Shawn. The latest report we use RotoGrinders weather. By the way, I think it's a great resource. There's a guy by the name of Kevin there that does a great job. I think he's technically a meteorologist. And he's reporting that the good news is that it's dry. The bad news is that the winds will be sustained around 25 miles per hour with wind gusts around 35 miles per hour. 15 miles per hour tends to be that magic number based on the past research that several people have done, Shawn, where when it's sustained over 15 miles per hour, significant impacts to the deep passing game, significant impacts to the kicking game. So, and people often think about that on the offensive side, Shawn, but for our defensive players, maybe in the San Francisco-Cleveland game, what does that mean for them?
Yeah, I mean, just like the offense is going to be dealing with not being able to pass the ball really well, it means a lot more ground game. So now the defense, that front seven, will be making a lot of the tackles, whereas your defensive backs, if they're not getting the passes thrown at them, they're not getting a lot of interception opportunities, tackle opportunities. We actually see some of the safeties start playing up. If it is sustained all game, they might start playing closer to the line, and that's going to throw off some of our snap alignments come Tuesday night. But, it starts with linebackers, more or less.
And be careful about starting your defensive backs in those games. Okay. All righty. As we always do, let's hit some key injuries. So let's hit some ends first. On the inside of things, we have Alex Singleton returning. Great for him after overcoming that testicular cancer, and he's back so quickly. Shawn, Greenlaw, Sternad start next to him. Who you betting on?
Oh, man. Last time we said Sternad had earned a big role, but it was still Greenlaw that played next to him. So I think we see both. Greenlaw's not playing a whole lot, 50% of the game maybe. But I think Sternad gets a few plays in. I'm not starting either one of those guys. It's Singleton or nobody for me.
I think that's the right answer. Ernest Jones is back in for Seattle, which moved Jake Thomas to number 2. Trevin Wallace is back in for the Panthers, but Roseboom and Charles are both out. So, Shawn, Chris Barnes is a starter next to Wallace. Do you think he can give us Roseboom type results in that role?
I think he'll have a solid day. I would still feel most comfortable putting him in deep leagues. Shallow leagues, I'm probably not starting him. But yeah, I think Barnes is good for 6 to 8 tackles.
Okay. Terrell Bernard is out. We expect Shaq Thompson to wear the green dot once again. Tatum Bethune is out. Curtis Robinson expected to start in his place. Now, both he and Winters sucked last week in terms of what they gave us. And on top, and Robinson looked bad, as I talked about in the show I recorded Tuesday night. But they also signed Eric Kendricks during the week. So it'll be fascinating to see how this plays out. I don't expect Kendricks to have been signed on Thursday and play today. But if Bethune's not back next week, I certainly expect Kendricks to play. But when Bethune is back, that's when it's going to get interesting. We'll talk about that more later. Jalen Carley's practice in full is ruled out, so he wasn't activated from the 21-day list. Jermaine Pratt is definitely safe for another week. Demetrius Flanagan-Files is questionable. We'll quickly hit on the edge, then we'll get to some of the questions here. Alex Highsmith is in after missing a couple of weeks with pectoral. Dexter Lawrence is in. Travon Walker out again. Alex Wright out again. Kayvon Thibodeau out again. Derek Harmon out. Walter Nolan out. Sam O, the 49ers in. Okwanaku or whatever you say. He is out. Harold Landry questionable for Monday night's game. So if you have Landry and you plan on playing him, make sure you have a fallback if he ends up not playing.
Jonathan expected to play the last I heard.
Yes, he is, but just to be on the safe side, you don't want to be stuck on a Monday night getting that goose egg when you might need it to. You need that victory as we get to playoff seasons. Jonathan Bernard, Jalen Redmond, both questionable. Right? Hassan Reddick and Anthony Nelson questionable. Reddick, I've heard expected to play. Nelson, I haven't seen anything on that. Okay. All right, we'll come back to the defensive backs in a little bit, but let's jump into some of these questions, Shawn. And fantasy breakout. And by the way, I am glad to be back and appreciate Shawn pitch hitting and doing the whole show for me last week while I was at a LSU game that I wanted to poke my eyes out. Never left a win of a football game for LSU. So dissatisfied. Okay, here we go. Hi, guys. Back with some more questions this week. Always glad to have you, Fantasy Breakout. Rank the top 3 linebackers. Alua Khan, a coach linebacker, so either Franklin or Pratt, Dodson or Ellis. So 3 of those 5, Shawn. Does any one of them fall to the bottom right off the bat?
To the bottom? Maybe Ellis, just because he has been disappointing. His sack upside is there, but it's just not – doesn't feel like he's doing enough for me each week. Whereas somebody like Dodson, they produced every week, either with tackles or a big play. And then the Colts linebackers, we've seen them struggle a lot earlier in the season, but as of late, they seem to be producing well. But if you play nearly 100 snaps in a game, you're bound to get some tackles.
So I like Dodson. I like Alua Khan probably as my first 2. And I'm leaning actually Pratt over Franklin.
I was looking similar. With Alua Khan, I'm worried about Titans' offense being terrible and not getting enough snaps. So I'm a little iffy on him. But I think I still like him more than Ellis.
So would you do Dodson, Pratt, and Franklin over Alua Khan, given that concern? Because the Titans, you're right, may end up only playing 48 snaps this week.
With the way the Texans have been running, I probably would start Franklin over Alua Khan.
Okay, so final answer, Dodson, Pratt, Franklin, Alua Khan, Ellis.
I believe so.
Okay. Now, you're at least on the positive side, Fantasy Breakout. These are tough calls, but pretty much if any of these 3, you should be okay. It feels like relative to your competition. Okay, here's another tough one for us. Also regarding defensive backs, pick 2 across Nick Cross, Derwin James, Xavier Watts, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Because remember, Cross, he has seen a reduction here over the past several weeks in terms of his output.
Actually, I'm going back to the previous one. The more I'm thinking about it, Ellis. I like Ellis just behind Pratt.
Oh, so
Yes. Yeah. I'm going way back here. Sorry for the confusion, everyone. But
all right, let's go back to that one. Let me click on that one real quick here, just for everybody. Then we'll come back to this defensive back one.
the
So
more
you're going to go Dodson, Pratt,
Ellis.
Ellis, Franklin, Oluokun.
Yeah. Yeah. The more I
Okay.
think about it, Ellis has picked up a couple sacks in the last 3 games. Good tackle numbers last week. Now, this is the Falcons Jets game. It's not Fields running around back there. So Tyrod Taylor can generate a little more offensive output. So we can sustain drives here. The weather in that game isn't as bad as the Cleveland game, but it is expected to have some wind and some snow, I believe, or at least some rain. So with all
Yeah,
that, it sounds like
there's
heavy
no
ground
snow.
game.
Yeah, there's no snow in the. It's just a steady light rain is what they're
Okay.
calling for right now.
So with that, I will take Ellis a little higher than what I had him originally.
Okay, all right, there you go, fantasy breakout, and let's go back to his defensive back question. So Nick Cross, Derwin James, Xavier Watts, and Minka Fitzpatrick. I probably have Minka lowest. Well, actually, you know what? The Saints have been playing a lot of snaps
Yeah.
for whatever reason on offense, which is creating more opportunities on the defense as I'm thinking out loud.
I think I have Watts last of these 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think I've just changed my mind. I've got Watts last. I still think I'm going Derwin James first against that Raiders putrid offense, who gave up, I don't know, 10 sacks to the Browns last week.
Yeah, James could get 2 of those himself.
Yeah, he could get 1 or 2 blitzing off the edge for sure. So even with whoever the new offensive coordinator is, they suck. So the offensive line sucks. So you're not going to change everything in 1 week like that. So
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I like James, and then between Cross and Fitzpatrick, you like Cross better against Houston?
I'm leaning towards Cross against Houston. I'm leaning in that matchup. So James, Cross, Fitzpatrick, Watts is where I'm leaning at this particular moment. Now I'm debating about Fitzpatrick versus Cross. Do I want to flip those two?
Yeah, I think I haven't flipped. I think I'm James and Fitzpatrick here.
Yeah, the Saint. I think what's going to make the difference for me is the Saints going to be on the field. I just have a feeling for like 70 offensive plays,
And with
and
Rasul Douglas being injured and still a bit questionable, it could kick Fitzpatrick into more of a slot role again, to where he's definitely down there by the line more instead of back deep.
yeah, it's kind of crazy where we were with Cross starting the year versus where he is now. So I'm there too. James Fitzpatrick, Cross, and Watts. That is our Art of Fantasy breakout. And he has one more for us, Shawn. A nasty question, as always, as he says. But this time I'm looking for a deep league quarterback. 4 points per TD. Oh, God. You should cry. You should have. Well, no, look, fantasy football is supposed to be for fun, so you should actually laugh. I know sometimes we get really passionate about it, but this is supposed to be a fun hobby, not a get us pissed off hobby. So Tyrod, Kirk Cousins, or Cam Ward? Oh my goodness! So
Ward's at the bottom, straight off for me.
he actually played his best game of the week though last week.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. Jaguars.
And even the Jags, the defense has really struggled too.
Yeah, I still see him getting a handful of sacks against him and not being able to do much. I feel like that rushing game is. I don't trust it.
The Jets
I haven't seen enough from Ward.
Right. And the Jets defense without Williams and Gardner still played surprisingly very well last week against Kirk. So I'm talking about that for Cousins.
Yeah.
Um,
Taylor and Cousins are playing each other in that potentially rainy game. Oh man, which is Tennessee here. They're calling for rain as well, so it's just on that end. There's no wind.
I'm going Ward.
Are you really?
I am absolutely going Cam Ward. The thing I liked about Ward last week, it was his best game passing wise in terms of his completion accuracy, if I'm remembering correctly, or close to the top. But he also started running the ball. And I'm going to go with the running yards, giving him a slight edge over these other two.
I'm thinking Tyrod here of all these.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking
Can't
about
do it,
this
huh?
way. Yeah, if I'm running with the backup Jets quarterback trying to get me into the close to a win as we get closer to the playoffs, I can't do it. Okay, Ward's my call. Fantasy breakout. What's your final call, Shawn? Did I convince you? Or are you sticking with Tyrod?
No, I'm going Tyrod just because Ricky took that stance now.
Hey, I got to tell you, for me, it'd be Ward, Cousins, and Taylor. That would be my order.
Yeah,
What
I
would be
think
your
we
order?
both have Cousins in the middle. I'm the opposite of Ward. I got to see more.
Like you've seen a lot out of Taylor or Cousins. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
digress.
I've seen both of them put up some good numbers
In
before.
in
It
2015.
doesn't matter
Okay.
when.
All right. Sorry, fantasy breakout. We got a tie on this one. You can,
It's
pick
going to be
your favorite
Cousins.
between
Cousins is
Sean
going to
and
be
Rick.
the one
Yeah,
that
Cousins is going to
outdoes
be the
both
one
of
that
us.
does the best. Exactly. Both of us picked him second, so that's the one he should probably go with.
Yeah, felt like
Um,
the safe one.
all right. Hi, boys. Hey, Bird. Okay, there's a scoring system. But can I pick up some linebackers that were I drop? Please rank Overshown, Bethune, and Roseboom for the playoffs. This is a really good question.
Yeah, with
And while you're
Overshown.
looking at, I'm going to look up over. Let me look up Overshown's snap count real quick while you're start debating that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's been particularly high just yet.
I think it did pick up this past Thanksgiving Day, but I want to see how much his snap count.
Yeah, it was
He
just
was
with
up to
the
70%
that
this
high.
past week.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that changes my mind a bit here because
Shamar James was down at 18% again.
which we
And then you had
expected.
this Murray and Logan basically 55 and 45 is how they alternated. So you could see
Okay.
that rampant over showing up, and you could see as the game progressed too. He was running all over the field. He was starting to look like the Overshown of old. So I
Well,
wanted to kind of get that on the table.
that definitely changes my mind here um, because he'll be first.
Yeah, and then earlier in the show, I talked about how they signed Kendricks. Now they still haven't put Bethune on IR. They once again ruled him out. That's 2 weeks in a row they ruled him out. If they thought he was going to be out for 4 weeks or more, so Bethune could be back. Now he didn't practice any, but he could be back 1 week from now or 2 weeks from now. Will he beat out Kendricks? Is the question.
Roseboom, we know he'll go back to his second role uh, behind Trevin Wallace. Yeah, Bethune.
I'm also thinking about the scoring system here: 4.5 points for a sack, 1.5 for a tackle.
So that's what really puts Overshown up because with his versatility and his big play ability, I think it definitely puts him number one. I think it's Roseboom number two, Bethune last for me right now.
Yeah, I think I'd go the same way right now. Overshown, Roseboom, and Bethune because of the questions with the 49ers.
Bethune is basically just tackles.
Yeah. All righty, there you go, Bird. Hope that helps, and we wish you the best. And the question is, to who you dropping, Bird? Because always be careful about. We'll rank who we're saying to pick up, but depending on who you're dropping, we might say, "Oh no, hold on to that person." So if you happen to be on, let us know who you might be dropping, and we can give you some thoughts there. All right, Dale, good to have you always as well. Dale Cooper here. Keenan Allen or Trey Tucker? Let's start with that one. Then we'll go C.J. Stroud or Mariota at quarterback. So let's start with Keenan Allen, who has kind of fallen off of a cliff, and Trey Tucker, who has fallen off of a cliff because of the Raiders. Um,
They play each other.
they play each other. And so, from that regard, and because the offensive line has been hurting so much, I expect more sharp targets to Allen and McConkey. And the Chargers defense is going to get after him. So Trey Tucker's best chance of getting big plays would be on deep passes. And I don't see that happening. I think Mack and Tuli T are going to eat today. And so I'm going Keenan Allen on this one.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, Trey Tucker really just had one big blow-up game. And then potential for others, but it hasn't manifested. Like it's every week, the garbage time. I mean, it's there to be hit, but it's just not happening. It feels like Tyler Lockett's the favorite receiver there these days too.
Yep. So and Tyler, that's a great call out. Tyler Lockett has kind of, along with Bowers, has become the favorite target of Geno there. So we're down on Trey Tucker, Stroud or Mariota. So Mariota's taking on the Broncos on Monday night. Sunday night. Patrick Surtain is back, adding to the Broncos' strength on defense. Yeah, I know McLaurin's back and all, but I'm sorry, I can't go with a backup quarterback against the Denver Bronco defense. And yes, CJ Stroud against the Colts, who the Colts have their defense, their secondary, you can pick on. So I'm going to go Stroud, even though this is his first game back over Mariota. Shawn?
Yeah, that Broncos defense is something else. It's championship caliber, I think. So, I'm going Stroud as well. We've seen that Colts defense be really porous as of late, even with Sauce Gardner brought in. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's go Rougarou. Hey, Rougarou, hope you had a great holiday as well. And be interested to hear your take on Lane Kiffin to LSU and what happened with Summerall. Is he going to stay at Tulane or is somebody going to steal him? All right. MFL Fantasy PPR. Or is that Flex PPR is what he's saying there. Wandale, Sutton, or Pittman?
As long as Jameis Winston's there, it's Wando for me.
But Jackson Dart is starting. He has been named the starter. I'm still
going Wando. Yeah.
I hate this Pittman matchup against Houston after we saw what they did with Buffalo. And Sutton you could argue Sutton is now the number 2 wide receiver behind Troy Franklin right now.
Yeah, he has been down. I wonder if they'll try to give him some extra targets this week just to kind of appease him. I think the order you have him listed is the way I'd rank them. But Wandale's the guy for me.
Exactly. I'm going Wandale as well. Particularly when you think that Dart they're going to limit his running. They won't call as many running plays, I think, in his first game back. I could be wrong on that, to protect him from himself. And he did target Wandale quite a bit. So let's go Wandale. Rougarou has another one for us here. Okay, 1 point per tackle, 5 for a sack. Okay. Fartin Barton, I love that name. And it truly is appropriate, right, Shawn?
It is.
Flanagan Fowles is questionable, as we talked about earlier. Trevin Wallace is active today. So of these stallions, of these number 4 linebackers, which one do you like? Oh, man.
Barton's at the bottom.
You mean the 3 tackles he had last week?
Was the 3 tackles he gets every week. Sometimes he saves it with a sack or an interception, but his tackles are terrible.
Yeah. So now it's Wallace or Flanagan Fowles. Flanagan Fowles is questionable.
Wallace has the full-time role, where Fowles, I think, would have a decent day. I think it's a decent matchup against the Patriots. I'm taking Wallace here.
Yeah, Flanagan Fowles, between the questionable and the fact that he doesn't play a full-time role, to your point, I'm going Wallace. Oh, God, I'm really worried about Flanagan Fowles. But I'll go Wallace, Flanagan Fowles, Barton in that order, even though he only needs 1. Okay, then in the secondary, looks like a cornerback spot, or maybe not, because Ramsey's listed as safety on many sites. No, he's mostly a cornerback on most sites. That's right.
Marcus could be a defense.
Drew Phillips. Yeah, it could be DB. That's true. Drew Phillips is last for me.
Yeah, it's Ramsey. I'm taking Ramsey with his tackle numbers. Uh, he's going to give me a solid floor where Marcus Jones is going to have to give me that big play, which he's very capable of doing.
And he has been doing so. It feels like week over week, but I got to go Ramsey with you as well.
Ramsey is a safe pick. Marcus Jones is your high ceiling, risky pick. Drew Phillips is really kind of fell off as of late.
All right. My son, who I've been texting with this morning, he didn't ask me this one yet, but David, my son, is asking here Jalen Waddle or Debo Samuel? So we have Debo against the Broncos defense or
Yeah,
Jalen Waddle against the Saints.
it's Waddle for me.
Yeah, in terms of the receivers remaining, Waddle's probably a top 10 play this week, in my opinion. Debo is probably of who's left, probably a mid to low end two right now. And then you have McClellan back, you have the Broncos defense, you have Mariota quarterback in them. Boy, it's hard to get on the Debo train this week. Okay, we're both on Waddle. David, good luck. My son, take care of my granddaughter. All righty. Rugaru's
no pressure.
Ruger's, it's cool, man. He sent me pictures of like his little baby daughter sleeping in his lap with NFL Red Zone in the background. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah, he's raising her right. Bucky Irvin, Kyron Williams, or Kenneth Gainwell
that's Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker. I did that last time too. Kenneth Walker, Gainwell, Bucky Irving. Are you trusting Bucky Irving this week?
I'm starting him in a couple because I have to. I'm not. I know he's limited. He could still potentially turn out a big play. I've got to start him in some of my leagues, but I don't feel great about him. I'm also starting Gainwell in a few leagues, and I do feel pretty decent about that. So he's one of them. Gainwell's one of them. It comes down to Irving and Walker.
The thing about Walker is he actually started getting some of the goal line carries for the first time this past week. Was that an anomaly, or was that going to continue? And we're talking about, oh, crud, I got to look up who they're playing because I forgot. They're playing the Vikings defense, which is a tough matchup, granted. But I think Brosmer's going to set him up in prime field position multiple times today as he goes. Gainwell, for me, is actually first on this, and I think I'm going Kenneth Walker second. I'm going to wait and see how Bucky Irving plays out.
Yeah, I'd already listed Gainwell as one of my guys. I'm thinking Bucky breaks one off here, gets us something positive. I'm taking Bucky over Walker just because I have not enjoyed Walker all season.
Yeah, I agree with you. Walker's been a pain in the butt all year long.
And that was against Tennessee last week, so that wasn't a ringing endorsement. I will say his production has picked up. He's probably the safer bet.
Yeah, Walker's definitely safer because Irving could play limited amount of snaps in this Cardinals game. Their defense is so bad, you could see a situation where they don't need to play him as much and can rely on White, rely on Tucker in addition to him.
Sure.
So I'm going Gainwell, Walker, Irving. Sounds like you're Gainwell, Irving, Walker, Shawn.
Yeah.
Sorry that we split it on you.
I'm going for it. It's playoff time. I'm going for it.
Feast or famine. So it's Irving may have a higher upside, although I'm not so sure. But if you feel that Irving has a higher upside and coming out of Thursday and Friday, you're way behind in this league, maybe you do roll with Irving. But if you're in good shape, maybe you roll with Walker. Maybe that's another way of thinking.
Well, Walker's definitely the safer pick. Yeah, I mean, he's good for 60, 70 rushing yards, probably another 20 to 40 on the through the air. So it's probably the smarter pick.
That's because it was mine. I agree with you.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that.
All right, Rugaroo is asking in 1.1 point, looks like, Winters, Farton, Barton, or Shaq Thompson? Winters gave us that one-hole tackle last week, so we got to be careful of recency bias. I'm going Shaq Thompson in this one.
Shaq against the Steelers. That's not terrible. Man, he's a solid
Steelers are
replacement.
running the ball a lot. Steelers are throwing it to tight ends a lot. Short average depth of target. It gives Thompson, I think, a lot of opportunities.
So the Browns are going to have to run him a lot too. That's the game we're talking with D Winners there. That's who I'm between Winners and Thompson. I know last week sucked, but the Panthers played 45 offensive snaps. It's just a bad
Yeah.
offense. The Browns have a solid rushing game. I'll take Thompson to
The
just.
Brown, I don't know how solid the Browns rushing game is. That was against the Raiders last week.
That's true. That's true. I'm going Thompson as well, just because this game could be very clock heavy, where each play is extended as long as it can, resulting in low snaps for both teams. I guess is what I'm worried about between the Niners and Browns. So
All right,
Thompson
Shaq
for me too.
Thompson it is. Let's go to Imrant. Good morning. I need 2 linebackers, 3 points for tackles, 15 points for a sack. Yeah, he has one of these big play scoring systems. Shaq Thompson, Trevin Wallace, Cody Simon, or Eric Wilson. Wilson is coming back down to earth a little bit, Shawn.
Yeah, he has, and it's surprising because he's actually been playing more snaps and he's given us less production lately. Wallace is another one who we've picked him a few times today, but his big tackle numbers haven't really been there this year. Even though he's played more snaps, his production is not as high as I would like. I think I'm down to Simon and Thompson.
I'm going with Thompson again on this one. I mean, Simon had that one game with 12 tackles, but I remember you and I talking on one of the shows and we talked about what's a reasonable expectation for Simon. And we're like about 6 tackles a week, 7 tackles a week kind of thing.
Which is a little more than I think Eric Wilson will give me.
Yep.
But yeah, 7 to 10. 10 is probably your ceiling, but yeah, floor wise, I think Simon's got one of the better ones here. So Thompson and Simon, those are my guys. Wallace right behind him, and Wilson last. If you want to know a little more there.
All righty. There you go. Good luck, M. Rant. Okay. Rugaroo says he needs one out of Petrie, Phillips, and Jordan Lewis. And by the way, we do have a lot of questions queued up, man. So I do want to make sure we pick up the pace a tidbit.
Give me Petrie.
Yeah, Petrie's active and
I
no
think Lewis
holding
is
back.
active too.
Yeah, Lewis is active too, but first game back, and you wonder if they're going to use him the same way they did prior to the injury. Although prior to the injury, we're starting to see a slack off from where his early season production. And Phillips just doesn't play enough. He's purely a slot cornerback. He doesn't play on the outside, as we've talked about on the Tuesday night show that we release on Wednesday mornings. So let's go with Petrie on this one. We are aligned on that one, Rugaroo. All right. David has another question. Needs one out of DK Metcalf, Woody Marks, Egbuka, Travion Henderson, or Marvin Harrison.
I'm leaning Ibuka, I think.
I am not on Egbuka on this out of this one.
Not.
I'm on Travion Henderson on this one. I think against the Giants, he's going to have a big game. If you look at Egbuka from the start of the year to now, I mean, there's a massive drop off in terms of production. Not to mention that, does Baker even finish the game?
Yeah, that's true. Henderson has really taken over the top role here.
Yeah. Stevenson played a few third down snaps, a couple at the goal line where he got stuffed. And then then they put in Terrell Jennings and he got stuffed. So it's not like Ramondre won the goal line role last week either.
Let's see. Giants. I just wanted to look up something real quick. Over the last 3 weeks, are giving up the second most fantasy points to running backs. So there you go.
Travion Henderson it is.
Henderson.
Did I convince you?
Yeah, you got me.
All right, cool. Yes, sometimes when we look at these players and we remember how good they were at the start of the year, and then as the year progresses, when they fall off, like a Nick Cross, for example, or in this case, Egbuka. I mean, Egbuka was far ahead like the rookie wide receivers, and now McMillan has blown by him because Egbuka has done so little. That's because the Bucs offense has struggled. All right, third eye. Hey, third eye. Start Devin White versus the Chargers, or Landman versus Carolina. Will the Rams defense be on the field enough to give Landman the stats that he needs? That is the question.
Yeah, after how bad Carolina's offense was last week, I'm not fully convinced. Um, I'm going White. I
I'm
know the
going White
Chargers
too,
will be on there a little more.
and not just because he's an LSU grad.
Yeah, totally
I
unbiased.
totally unbiased. I have White probably as a top 10 play this week, and I have Landman probably a top 20 play this week, just because I'm worried about the snap count of Carolina. So third eye, if you believe Carolina is going to give them a much better game because the Rams, this is one of those, the Rams are flying across the coast to coast. Teams that fly coast to coast sometimes struggle and don't do as well normally, but the Rams have been playing so good, I just don't think that'll matter. So White, then Landman, that is our recommendation. Oh, now he's saying if I could add one linebacker for a playoff rush as a backup. So which one of these would you pick up off of waivers? Quay Walker, TJ Edwards, or Shaq Thompson? Bernard
Um,
could be back.
yeah, it's Walker for me.
Yeah, to me, it's Quay Walker as well. I was going to go through the whole thing, but you're right. We need to pick it up in interest because
Yeah,
all the questions. But it's Quay Walker very clearly. Edmonds is outperforming Edward. Bernard could be back at some point. So it's the order you have them is the order we go third eye.
absolutely.
Skywalker, what is a good strategy for a playoff? Carry a second extra wide receiver or a backup quarterback? It's a very interesting question. Boy, I wish we had Skywalker do this. Um, we'll give you some quick thoughts here, but in the YouTube channel, after we record the Tuesday night show, put more details about your team makeup in the YouTube channel and the questions there, as well as how many wide receivers you start, flex spots, all that kind of stuff, because I think that would help us in our choice. Right now, looking at um, so on the surface, who's the better player that's available? It looks like I would take Jaden Daniels with him expect to be back next week, but I don't know if I'm starting him over May because of all the injuries and stuff. If you got Wan'Dale Robinson, that's a pretty solid backup. I don't think I'm dropping him for Jaden Reed, but there might be others on your roster. So help us with a little bit more info, and we'll have more time to answer in the YouTube questions. Okay, but
Yeah, that's three really good quarterbacks. Makes me think it's either a small league or this was a dynasty that
yeah,
he's just racked up some good players. But yeah, there's a lot of variables there to be able to answer that right now.
yeah. On the gut, out of the players you're mentioning, I would pick up Jaden Daniels. But that's dynasty versus a redraft, etc. Okay. All right. Harry is asking, is C.J. Gardner-Johnson a drop? The answer is no. In fact, I was surprised. And I'm looking it up right now. Kyler Gordon played 67% of the snaps. Gardner-Johnson played 100% of the snaps. And now part of the reason Gordon played so much too was that Tyreek Stevenson was out, one.
Mm-hmm.
Two is Jalen Johnson was being eased back in. Wow. So I think that got Gordon more snaps on the outside. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, where we were worried about him losing that role, actually looks like he kept the role away from Gordon. Now, were they also easing Gordon back onto the field as well, and maybe Gordon takes over? But
We may actually just see Gordon kick outside the rest of the season. But there's a lot of talk on Deshaun Wright really earning his spot this year. So it could just end up being a mess in the secondary there. But Gardner Johnson looks to have that slot role / safety role locked up near the line. So you're going to have some up and down games, but with his blitzing potential.
At the same time, Harry, to your point, after he got off to that great start, his numbers have dropped off, and that's a fair point. So the Dennis Allen role, while we like it, hasn't been it hasn't been as productive as we saw it in New Orleans. There's been a couple of outlier games or positive games, but then the most part has been kind of so. So he might not even be a must keep as a side note. Okay. Okay. Harry has another question for us. Is it possible once Jalen Peach returns, Jalen Reed starts every game at safety and Miles Bryant goes to backup? He had a great game last week. That is the big unknown. So Petrie is back this week. Obviously, we expect him to start and play his known role. So I expect him to start at safety, and when three wides happen, he goes into the slot. The question is, Reed had the big game last week, played more than Bryant.
Bryant was more the slot role. He wasn't really that much safety, whereas Reed was more safety role. So Petrie is probably the slot, and Reed's probably the safety. Miles is on the bench. Miles Bryant's going to the bench.
But once again, those are the number 5 and number 6 cornerback, our defensive backs for the Texans. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't expect if this does happen in this case for Reed, and it's still an if because they still could go with the veteran Bryant. We'll see. I don't disagree with Shawn that Reed probably has the upper hand at this particular moment. But if it's a team that's not playing a lot of three wide, so the Texans play the Colts today, who do play a lot of three wide, but they also play not as much. Downs isn't getting as much playing time, and they've been playing a lot of Warren and Mo Alley Cox. And Ogletree got a touchdown last week and all. So Reed might not get the snaps to get the IDP points that we need. So keep that in mind as well. Okay? All right. 3P1 is back with us again this week, and he's saying Cole Bishop or Marcus Jones?
Cole Bishop.
Yep. I'm going with the safety as well, who's guaranteed the 100% of the snaps and who's really improved as the year progresses. Also, would you ever play Highsmith over Dodson or Cashman with 6 points for a sack, 1.5 points for a tackle?
2 points for a quarterback hit, 2 points for a tackle for a loss. If the matchup's right, I would probably take a shot on him a few weeks out of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would never say never in this because of the scoring system. I wouldn't play Highsmith this week coming back from a pictorial, regardless of the matchups.
Right.
Because last time he came back from an injury, they eased him back in, and he only played like 50 or 60% of the snaps. So I'm staying away from Highsmith for sure this week. But if, with some of the ones we joked about, the Tennessee Titans offensive line, for example, the Las Vegas Raiders, if Highsmith is playing against those and he's fairly healthy, then I would play Highsmith over one of these two. Then I have to see what they're.
So, looking at this, one sack for Alex Highsmith, one solo sack is 11.5 points. It would take these guys quite a few tackles to get up to there. So, yeah, when the matchup's right and it's a smash play, yes. You're probably putting Highsmith in a lot more than I initially considered.
Yeah, that's a great point, Shawn. All right, and that's where the scoring systems help. Thank you all. Kevin, hey, Kevin, always glad to have you. Good morning to you. Fighting for a playoff spot, big three scoring. Is that Chop Robinson? No, Curtis Robinson probably. Yeah, Curtis Robinson or Trevin Wallace at linebacker. Kamari Lassiter or Iman Wari at defensive back. I can't play Curtis Robinson from what I saw the other night.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because of his lack of scoring. I just saw him out of position, overrunning stuff, because I was purposely watching because I'd picked him up in 2 leagues, and it just didn't look good. And the fact that they signed Kendricks tells you a lot, that they aren't willing to wait for Bethune to get healthy.
Yeah, so, they've seen the same thing, and they were like, oh, my God, we got to get somebody else in there.
Yeah. And then Lassiter, Iman Wari. Since I took the first one, I'll give you first crack at the second one.
Yeah, I think I'll actually take Iman Wari here.
That is the right.
Lassiter is a solid corner, but Iman Wari is getting you more tackles. And he's playing up against the line more, or up near the line more. So, yeah, he'll definitely give you more potential there.
All right. Kevin Hutchinson is also asking one more. Is Herbig still in play with Highsmith playing, or should I go with Chason or Byron Murphy? Kevin, your scoring system is key. Can you add your scoring system here? Because to me, that would make a big difference between because Herbert to me is not in play, Shawn, with Highsmith back. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's tough to trust right now, especially with that rotation coming. But if Highsmith seized in, do I like him more than these other guys? I don't trust Chase Young right now.
But Murphy's been playing fantastic ball,
Yeah,
so that's part of the
that's
reason I want to see the scoring system. And
right.
if there's a difference with defensive tackles versus edges, maybe things along those lines.
Sure.
So we'll come back to that one, Kevin. Go ahead and type that in. We'll come back to that one. Jay says, "What's up, boys?" And he is letting us know cheesecake for me, man. Cheesecake is probably my overall favorite dessert, but at holiday time, I love that Hershey pie.
Y'all
So
are gonna
thanks
hate
for
me.
letting
I
us know.
do not like cheesecake at all.
Oh man, there's something wrong with you, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Kavas is telling us slice of apple and a slice of pumpkin pie. I can go for both of those. With my apple pie, I like some vanilla ice cream, but pumpkin pie, maybe even with a little cream cheese pumpkin pie, that's some good stuff there. Thank you, man. That's awesome. All right, and Jay Stitt's also asking, you guys starting Ernest Jones or Tyrell Dodson this week?
Tyrell Dodson for me.
Tyrell Dodson for me too. With Ernest Jones coming off of that knee injury, the Minnesota offense may not be on the field very much. So, and like we talked about, I expect the Saints to be on the field 70 snaps on offense. And Miami's only going to be on the field like 50-ish kind of thing. So that's the play there for us. Silver Rapture. I think Silver Rapture may be new. I apologize if I don't recognize you, but welcome to the show. Jeremy Chin or Malik Mustafa with 1 point for a tackle, 2 points for a sack, 4 points for an interception. Chin or Mustafa? Mustafa looks so good. I mean, he played not as much deep as he had been, but man, it seems like when it was clear enough, he was coming down like a hell on wheels, man, down. So he looked really good. Chin against the Chargers here.
So here's what I'm seeing over the last 3 weeks. The Chargers are averaging the least amount of points to safeties. And then I'm seeing the game with the Browns and Niners, potentially not having a whole lot of snaps on here. But with the bad play from Robinson, talking about safeties moving up, Mustafa could still have a decent game today. I'm going Mustafa.
The two are neck and neck for me, but I'm leaning Mustafa just on the this is a little bit recency bias, but I just love the way he played.
Yeah.
Okay, Silver Rapture has one more for us. Oh, he's got a Houston Texans dilemma here: Daniil Hunter or Will Anderson against the Colts, and Daniel Jones on a broken fibula.
Oh boy. Why do we have to choose between these? Who's your other guy? Or you're only starting one? This is Anderson's been getting a sack about every game, and that's about it. And Hunter can give us 2, 3, or 0. You start either one of these guys, just coin flip it. I like Anderson a little more personally.
I would go Anderson by a slight hair, but I'd be comfortable starting either one. And it really is a coin flip because either one of these could end up having a great game here against. If Jones truly can't run and he's a statue in the pocket, both of them could have a great game. All right, we got another new one, Caesar Rangel. Welcome, Caesar. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Choose two out of Kamani Vidal, Khalil Shakir, Pittman, and Sutton. Pittman is last for me on this one because of that the way the Houston Texans defense has been playing, and to the point we were just talking about with Daniel Jones and the Colts offense. We've got Shakir. Oops, my screen just went blank. That's never good. I'm looking at my notes I have on the screen.
Yeah, sometimes mine will black out as well, and I take a little mini panic.
The Steelers have been susceptible against these slot wide receiver types. I like Shakir as my first choice on this list.
I was between Shakir and Sutton. I know we didn't talk Sutton up very good earlier, but it depends on who's around him. Shakir and Sutton, that's where I'm at. I don't know which one I actually prefer more. I may have leaned Sutton this week.
Well, he's saying choose two, so I'm gonna go Shakir and
two.
Sutton as well. Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I'm going to take both those guys then.
Yeah, I am not trusting Kamani Vidal right now, and
No.
Pittman we're down on. So good luck, Caesar Orange. Glad to have you. Hopefully, we'll see you back in the future. And Silver Rapture is saying, what do you think about Nick Scott for Panthers with Morrig and JC Horn out? So I think that Nick Scott is going to continue to play the deep safety role. I think Lathan Ransom will move into the Morrig role. And if there's any of the two, and Nick Scott generally sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
So if there's any of the two that I'm going with Ransom out of that. Shawn?
Yeah, I'm with you. I do not want Nick Scott at all. I'm not picking him up. I'm not entertaining the idea of him having a good day.
So Ransom for 1 week and leave
Yes.
Nick Scott out on the waiver wire. Bruce, hey Bruce, good to have you. Hey, well, yeah, definitely watch the replay and let us know what your favorite dessert is from Thanksgiving. All right, MK is asking, good morning, everyone. Do you guys think Alex Singleton is a start for his first week back? The answer is absolutely yes, he is. Expected to be a full go 100%. Mr. Bakes-A-Lot. Now, Mr. Bakes-A-Lot, certainly, hopefully, he told us what his favorite dessert is. What's up, homies? And he's also saying Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins. Man, some of our guys are really having some really bad choices.
It's playoff time.
Wow, man. And there's no buys this week, too. I feel
Yeah, right.
So, and we got buys in week 14.
So that means injuries have ravaged some of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going Cousins on this one.
I'm going Cousins as well.
Yeah. So, man, Geno, that
Good
whole Raiders
luck.
team looks so bad. Yes, stay away from that. Maybe you could trade him to your opponent. Good day, gentlemen, from Trades of the Day. Love the show. Well, thank you very much. Who would you start? Ernest Jones or Schlesinger today? Thank you.
Schlesinger. Yeah, I'm not benching him again, I don't think, this year.
And we talked earlier in the show, this 49ers-Browns game with the weather as expected. We expect more running, more short passing, which should play to Schlesinger's strength as well. And so Schlesinger it is. That one we're aligned on pretty easily. Rougarou said, Merci, bon ami, mes amis, bonne chance. And, this one. Ted Allen is saying, hey, welcome back, Ted. 1 assist, 0.5 pass defense. Hang on. Solo is 1 tackle. Solo is 1 point. Assist is half a point. Pass defense 1, interception 2, sack 3. Okay. Stick with Sherwood or drop for Dotson, Schlesinger, Ellis, Ernest Jones, Levante, Singleton, or Demario Davis. So this must be a pretty shallow league where they only play one linebacker, it looks like, is my guess.
Sherwood's near the top of these guys. Dotson and Schlesinger are the only two I'm really considering over him.
Yeah. Particularly with this scoring system.
Mm-hmm. Sherwood gets a lot of tackles, but he's leading the league in assisted tackles. So a lot of his are assists. So you're kind of losing part of your points there. So maybe I switch it up to Schlesinger. Probably. Or Dotson. Yeah. I like both these guys. Actually, I like all these guys. The more I look at the list.
Yeah. I mean, Singleton's not bad either, although I've been a Singleton hater for part of the year. But, they're all solid players. But particularly for this week, and if it is a shallow league, I think I'm going Schlesinger for this week over Sherwood. Okay, so that's our recommendation, Ted. Good luck. Parkway Drive. Hey, Parkway Drive. I think this is a new one here. Landman versus Carolina or Curtis Robinson versus Cleveland. I'm concerned about Landman not getting many tackle opportunities. We are also, but we're also concerned about Curtis Robinson's ability to tackle. Now, 2 weeks ago, he did rack up a lot of tackles in that matchup. I don't disagree with you there. But the Cleveland offense could also be with Shador and, look, it was the Raiders last week, okay, that he did okay with. And one was like a little dump off to Sampson that he ran like 60, 70 yards. Yeah. He got one long bomb and basically really was horrible. I shouldn't say horrible, not very good.
He looked like a rookie.
Yeah. That's well put. I'd rather take my chance with Landman.
I'm taking Landman as well, for sure.
Rougarou, in answer to my question, he likes the Kiffin move. Yes, they have a lot of work to do, but they're going to spend a lot of money at LSU. Apparently, they're committing like 25 or 30 million a year for rosters. So maybe we can buy a championship there. Nadir, oh, welcome, Nadir. I think you're new. Always glad to have our new ones as well as our regulars. So need 2 defensive linemen, 3 points for tackle, 1.5, 1 3/4. Oh, I'm sorry. Defensive linemen get 3 points for a tackle. Linebackers get 1 3/4 for a tackle. So this gets a little trickier then, and he needs 2 based on that scoring system. Jeff Simmons, Leonard Williams, Nick Bonito, Bobby Wagner, Devin White. And it doesn't say anything about points for sacks. So I'm assuming there's no points for sacks here, Shawn. So that kind of takes Bonito out of the running for me if there's no points.
Benito's out. I do like Jeffrey Simmons this week. Do I want him more than Bobby Wagner or Devin White? I guess is really the question.
That is the same question I'm asking myself as well.
Boy. I'm thinking Devin White and Jeffrey Simmons.
I think I'm going with the 2 linebackers. I don't know if Simmons, even with the extra 1.25, is going to get. Wagner and White can get 8 to 12 tackles. Simmons might get 4 or 5. Shawn.
Yeah, but
And
five at that number, where he's getting almost double the points.
That's true. That would be on the high side. But 8 times, let's just call it 8 times 2 is 16, 5 times 3 is 15, and I think Wagner and White would have more upside.
Yeah, they're definitely the safer picks.
If I knew there was points for sacks, I might feel differently. But without the points for sacks, I'm going with the 2 linebackers.
6 points for a sack.
Oh, he put it further down?
And it's for both positions. Yeah. Against the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. That's where I'm seeing a lot of appeal here for Simmons.
Okay, with 6 points for a sack, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Jeffrey Simmons. Now the question is, do I want Wagner or White?
I took White because the Dolphins are. No, they're not playing the Dolphins.
They're playing Denver.
Denver. Ooh.
I'm going Devin White against the Chargers here.
Yeah.
Particularly with the way their offensive line is struggling, he might even sneak through and get a sack for us against that Chargers offensive line. Okay, Simmons and Devin White is my final call, knowing the 6 points for a sack now.
Yeah, mine too. That's where I was.
Okay, we are 1 minute from the top of the hour, so we're. I said we're going to go faster, and I did, and we got a lot more questions. We're going to try and run through. Here we go, and we'll try and be fast. Okay, we're going to go about 8 minutes over, Shawn. Okay, need 2 from Harvey, Vidal, Judkins, Neal. Neal's out.
Neal's out. Vidal's out.
Yep, Judkins and Harvey are 2. Thank you very much. We had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you did as well, Ted. Steven at the Steven says, pick 1 wide receiver and 2 flex. Neal's out.
Yeah, Neal's out. I like Waddle and McConkey.
And Dowdle.
Dowdle over Walker. Dowdle hasn't.
Yeah, but they realized their mistake. There was a lot of noise early this week about Dowdle not going to play enough time. He even made some stuff on X.
Against the Rams?
Yeah. I still think I'm going Dowdle there. So it looks like we might be split. Waddle and McConkey for sure, and then I'm going Dowdle, and Shawn is going Walker. Sorry, Stephen, we have a split on that last one. Okay. Light Skin Leb says, hey, fellas, hello to you as well. Okay, Kevin, this is on Kevin's question from earlier. I have to scroll back up to remind myself. What was it? Trying to be fast in the interest of time for everybody. This was the Herbig, K'Lavon Chasen, or Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy. 3 points for a tackle for a loss.
Yeah, Byron
Yeah.
Murphy for sure. Yeah, I'm with you. He's been playing phenomenal. And Sutton or Wandale?
Wandale for me.
Wandale for me as well. And Lightskin Lab, after saying hello, also asks a question. Pick 3 linebackers: Spillane, DeMario, Winters, Barton, Luvu, Franklin, Drake, Thomas.
DeMario and Spillane, then
And
Franklin.
Franklin for me.
Yep,
Yep.
I'm right there with you.
DeMario, we're aligned on those 3. DeMario's, Spillane, and Franklin. Mandatory username 72. Love that. Yes, man, no question. Just doing things. Just thanks for doing your thing. Good luck for your matchup. Thank you, mandatory username, and hope you join us in the future. Oh, well, he will go ahead and ask us a question. Oh, actually,
The immediate future, it turns out.
yeah, the immediate future. Olavi, Devin Deal, or BTJ in the flex.
Oh boy.
60%. I got to go Olavi in this one. I can't trust Devin Neal when they could go Taysom Hill some in there. Taysom Hill getting all the good snaps. Not ready to trust BTJ quite yet. So assuming Olave is active, which I haven't looked at actives and inactives during the show, he had some back spasm issues. But assuming he's active, I'm going Olave.
I'll look that up, but yeah, I'll go Olave as well.
Okay, Marcus is asking, good morning, IDP gents. Good morning to you as well, Marcus. Khalil Mack or Harold Landry? 4 points for a sack, 1 point for a tackle. Last I
Olave
heard,
is active.
I'm sorry?
Olave is active. So
Olave is
we'll get
active.
there.
So Olave it is. Okay, so saying Khalil Mack or Harold Landry, and Landry's questionable, though he's expected to play. But who do the Chargers play?
Play the
They play
Raiders.
the Raiders. We're playing Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Landry just hasn't been giving us the tackles I thought he would this year. No, he did have a good game last week. He is more sucker bus, but Mac has not been the greatest. But Raiders are right around the corner here to make us rethink Khalil Mack for 1 week. I'm with you.
All right, so just a couple other things. Jalen Petrie's in, Tyler Nubin's in, Will Harris was activated from IR. He's in, Joey Porter's in, Pat Surtain's in, Jordan Lewis is in, though we're not sure how much he's going to play. Pat Surtain, the reason I want to bring him up for is that Jaquan McMillan was having some big games, but he's getting this extra playing time. With Surtain coming back, there could be impacts to McMillan. With Newman being back in, there's impacts to Dane Belton, so be careful there. And Jordan Lewis could impact Jerry and Jones. Okay, we got one other quick one here. In the flex, Aaron Jones or Darren Waller? And I heard this morning that Darren Waller, and we got another one that's coming in late. We'll do a couple of these late ones here. That Darren Waller was going to get a normal workload, that they could have brought him back sooner potentially. So he's ready for a full workload. I can't trust this Vikings with Roseman and Aaron Jones, man.
Yeah.
I can't do
Yeah,
it.
I'll take the upside of Waller as well, who is bound to jump right into 8 targets right away, just because they have nobody else on the Dolphins.
Besides Waddle, yeah. In terms of wide receivers, yeah, I agree, or receivers. All right, one more question from our buddy, and unfortunately, I forgot how to pronounce his name, and he gave me the pronunciation last time. My apologies. Would you please suggest me someone replace Hufanga with if he doesn't play, like Bishop or someone else?
Bishop's a pretty solid option.
Bishop is an excellent option if he is available, but I expect Hufanga to play unless there's some news that came out this morning that I didn't see. But Hufanga wasn't even on the injury report last I looked.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. In fact, I picked him up in one league because somebody had dropped him last week.
Oh, here it is. Okay. He was added to the Week 13 injury report because of an illness and is listed as questionable.
Oh, okay. The same thing for Tyler Warren. I believe yesterday they put him on the list. Warren's expected to play. He's pretty much active, so I expect the same for Hufanga. If not, teammate Brandon Jones, if he's available, would be a good matchup as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's another one as well. I'd pick up Brandon Jones in his absence as well. So the problem is, and it's the Sunday night game, so he's got to decide ahead of time. So I'd be watching the tweets of folks like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport as the day goes on, just to see. if any other news comes out, as well as the Denver Broncos PR department. And just to keep an eye on that. So that I didn't. So that's why I was asking the question, the illness. But usually illnesses, it's rare that they don't play.
Yeah. Unless it's hospitalized or something, pretty rapidly. But yeah, expect him to play. As far as matchups go, the Dolphins have been a good matchup for safeties. So if it's a deeper league, so you get Reed or Sanker, either one of those could have a decent day as well.
Okay. All righty. With that, we're going to call this a wrap, folks. Hopefully you've been checking out our IDP Plus Advice show that we record on Tuesday nights and release very early on Wednesday morning. We talk about snap counts, player alignment and positioning for our IDP. We talk about injuries, potential waiver pickups, and so forth. So definitely check that out, folks. And what else do I want to tell you all? Sorry, having trouble with my notes today, folks. All right. Don't forget to give me a follow at RickyRod66. Give Shawn a follow at Shawn8386. And look out for that IDP advice show. And we'll be here again next Sunday as we get to the last game of the regular season. And there'll be a lot of teams on bye as well. So we'll be here to help you out. So with that, on behalf of Shawn Teague, this is Ricky Roderick wishing you, your family, and your friends great health and happiness. Be kind to one another and good luck in week 13.